Vikings, we've talked a lot about this microtransactions in games. And man, it has taken a turn for the worse. So this is 10 games that turn into microtransaction hells.
Live service games, microtransactions, free to play. It's stuff we've complained about often on this channel, we'll admit, but today we're talking about some games that maybe started off reasonable but have kind of devolved into a microtransaction hellscape. Some of these games are games that you might actually be a fan of, but today we just kind of want to air our grievances with them. So we got 10 examples. Let's get started off with number 10. As longtime Bungie fans, it's been frustrating to watch their slow metamorphosis from...
I knew it! Yeah, Activision was in the race and no! It was Bungie all along, I've said it. When it comes to the MTX, how it's now compared to what it's been, well, when was it worse? Now? Or then?
One of the best and most respected game developers to whatever they got going on with this now. Destiny 2 is in many ways a microcosm of that change. Sure, there were microtransaction controversies right from the start, completely, but it's gotten so much worse in the past few years. It's almost unrecognizable as the same game for some people. I mean, in many ways, it literally isn't, because a lot...
Give us, go back to Destiny 1. Just for a little bit, huh? Just think that would be great.
A lot of that stuff that originally made Destiny 2 what it was, you know, like the entire Red War storyline, all that is gone. It's been removed from the game entirely, and now a lot of that content
it's not only gone entirely. Bungie deleted it from the servers, from the PCs. The game is officially gone. Assets, everything. It's gone.
It was originally part of the game, including stuff like the first 3 expansions, stuff that people actually, you know, paid for, has been removed and is slowly being drip-fed back to players to kind of purchase all over again, only this time they're charging for every little thing and making it more expensive. Compared to the whole Bright Engrams controversy back when the game first came out and, you know, the original version of the Eververse store, what we're getting now is much worse. On top of the paid expansion packs, which are required to keep playing the game, and seasons, which Bungie, of course, raised the price on without warning and without making any significant changes to the amount of content you're getting with each one.
Then
there's also some absurdly overpriced cosmetics now.
Overpriced? I mean, this whole shit is a mess. It's a mess. It was way better when freaking Activision owned them. And the rumors are that Bungie wanted to do this all along, but Activision said no. Believe it or not, but seeing this, now, I believe it.
Don't even bother trying to fit in with like the theme or the lore of the game. At least the old paid armors and stuff kind of actually tried to fit in the world of Destiny 2. Now they're just falling into the same desperate pit as every other microtransaction heavy game, and just going all in on cross promotions with stuff like Ghostbusters and Star Wars. One of the upcoming expansion packs is going to be just straight up Star Wars themed. Any coherent vision for the game has been sacrificed to blatant...
It's sad to say, but yeah. They got an all-out Star Wars expansion, DLC, whatever you want to say. Like, fuck me.
And desperate attempts at just marketing stuff. They're filling the game with stuff that I think a lot of players don't want, and especially don't want to pay for. It's tragic because the game is kind of...
Yeah, I mean... Yeah. Yeah. TFT and D2 pick overpriced poison. I don't know which one is worse.
On the upswing, technically, but it's not bad, but these increasingly transparent attempts to make every last cent, every last dime from the player base is just making it harder and harder to like Destiny 2. Next at number 9, back when it was released, Infinity Nikki got a lot of positive reactions
Infinity
and goodwill from
Nikki?
gamers, the gaming world, the gaming
fuck is
press,
this?
whatever. The monetization was far from the best in the game. I mean, this is still a free-to-play game from Asian territories. Like,
Is this still alive? Never heard of it. But of course, it's anime. Oh, fuck. Of course, I never heard of it.
action adventure thing. Exploitative is the baseline here, but as far as these games go, there wasn't anything overly egregious right at the start. Things seemed to be trucking along smoothly, at least for a little while, and then the disastrous 1.5 patch dropped, and it seems like that's when everybody turned on the game. It's rare to see sentiment around a game swing this hard.
Infinity Nikki devs have published a notice regarding the abysmal 1.5 update. To all stylists, we offer our deepest apologies. I don't get why publishers don't see this before they release it. Like, didn't they? Like, how didn't they know before they updated the game? Okay. Now, let's put in a lot more MTX. People will love it. We won't get any hate. This will be awesome, and we will make a lot of money. Like, how don't they see this as a negative shit? Of course, when was it? Yeah, 25. Like, holy shit. It was 25. Like, that May, actually. Damn. Nikki went from good play gotcha to predatory gotcha. Damn.
Because of one simple patch, but it's one of the examples where they did it. They screwed up here. There are problems from top to bottom. Like, the original opening area was completely removed and replaced with this extremely basic, almost condescendingly simple starting area. The story was changed in a way that most fans did not like. And then, yes, of course, the monetization got a whole lot worse. A lot of this is going to sound like total gibberish if you're not deeply ingrained in gacha games, but one of the core problems fans had with the update was that they added in 2 new 5-star banners, which instead of being the usual 10 parts or less, they both had 11 parts. So the
banners? Hold on. Is that the same thing as every other game? It's what you see before a match or whatever, like a banner, like, huh? How can that cost that much?
The bigger the outfits that you want to unlock, the more gacha pulls you have to make to be able to complete them. And while the game does have the usual pity system seen in other games like this type, like, you know, Genshin Impact, completing a single outfit was already expensive, but that bump in the amount of pieces needed to complete the outfit made the final cost even worse.
Yeah,
Basically,
11?
it takes like 20 pulls to just get a single 5-star costume piece. That's when
What? What?
basically it takes like 20 pulls to just get a single
20 tries to get 1, and you need 11. So this will basically cost 80 to 100 bucks. What the hell? I hate this. In Delta Force 2, you have these like cards or whatever to get a random item, and you get a very low chance to actually get the skin. Same with Arena Breakout. I mean, holy, is this the same way? But 20 tries to get 1, and you need 11? Wow, that's bad. Wow, the game itself is actually fine. Like, it's like, yeah, adventure, open world, Crash Bandicoot, or Spyro game. The shit went. They pulled the crap with the cost. Okay. What the okay.
5-star costume piece. That's when the pity mechanic kicks in and the game just gives you a freebie. But the chances of getting these things are so low normally that it's basically required. it's extremely unlikely that you'll get any 5-star pieces from just a regular roll. So if you want to get just one of these costumes, it was going to take up to 220 rolls. And if you want both costumes, then it's 440 rolls. This is
over 200? Holy shit! It was just a few pieces on the stop, but apparently they double it, triple it for people to get one costume. And this is maddening. This is maddening indeed. Holy shit. David, hey, welcome. Fuck. This is... wow. I got no words. This is weird as fuck.
a game all about playing dress up. People like this, you know? And, you know, it's filled with players who are not just willing, but happy to engage in this type of stuff for costume parts, but even they think this whole thing is going too far. Throw in a lot of worthless microtransactions like decorations that you can't really do anything with because there's no housing system, along with the extremely messy, like, come on, 90% discounts flashing listed everywhere, where they mark something up for like $1,000 and say it's 99% discount, like they're giving you a huge saving, even though it's just on like the most worthless junk. Just makes the game look kind of trashy with how hard they're pushing players to spend money. It seems like a game that's tanked its reputation quite a bit simply because the developers got a little too greedy here. Next at number 8,
a little greedy. Oh yeah, this is bad shit.
As one of the longest running MMOs out there, RuneScape has changed significantly since it originally launched way back in January of 2001.
Oh, he's gonna mention the thing that happened recently. I heard something about this.
I remember playing that at the library and having the time of my life. Now, the world of RuneScape has always kind of dipped its toe into monetization. I mean, the developers have to pay the bills somehow, but originally it was just a $5 subscription. Then came the in-game store, the bumps to subscription prices, the addition of premium skill tools that make it easier to grind, and then the list goes on and on. Players were getting more and more fed up with the real money shop crap on top of subscriptions, but the thing that really got the player base fuming was the addition of a battle pass on top of all that other stuff. This RuneScape 3 player backlash got Jagex to remove the hero.
RuneScape developer firefights desperately as new battle pass leads to player revolt and review bombing. They've gone too far down the rabbit hole. Shit. Still always a bit odd to see negative reviews replaced with 1,000 hours. Yeah, but they got 1,000 hours and then you do this shit. That's the thing. Like, you play the game and then they add like new shit like this. Of course they're gonna review bomb the shit out of it. If you like, what?
Pass, but that didn't stop them from continuously raising subscription prices and offering increasingly expensive and overpowered items in exchange for real money. The situation with the game got so bad that just recently, in 2025, the studio put out a message saying that they were looking into overhauling the entire microtransaction system in the game.
MMO dev admits egress something. Microtransaction are harming its game. Oh, you don't say. The player base is really growing. Oh, you don't say. And it's time to clean up. The era of tainted RuneScape 3 is coming to an end. Holy shit. Like, how, like, again, like, how they don't see this before they make this kind of update? What? The microtransactions are harming the game and the player base isn't growing. Yeah, because you have to pay a lot of money to get the good stuff, and just to play the stuff, you have to pay. It's free to play, by the way. On Reddit, I saw Paul Solver felt to rush Trap on TFT. He paid almost $50 to rush Ultimate Blair. Bro really thought TFT was like Warframe, which only charges 25 and 5 to rush anything, no matter if it takes 1 day or 3 days. No. Yeah, that's expensive. Holy shit. No. But at least they learned a lesson. Welcome to TFT and the Nexon universe.
game. It's a bold statement if their intentions are true, but many players remain skeptical. We've all heard this stuff before from Jagex. They put out these types of feel-good, we hear you messages, and then not a lot comes from it, you know?
Oof.
Maybe if they are serious about fixing the microtransaction situation, then RuneScape could actually get a lot better. But right now, until then, it's just kind of in this microtransaction limbo. Next over, number 7, Overwatch 2. You know something has gone wrong when a game's player base wants to go back to loot boxes. Overwatch 1 had loot boxes, you know, a thing that we all hated and complained about.
Overwatch 2 is now Overwatch 1. Except, we still haven't gotten a PvE, right? They completely scrapped it. Like, this game would be so good with a PvE mode, with story campaign. I mean, the characters are interesting. And the cinematic they released for the characters was good. This could be one hell of a game.
But it's so much better than the current model. At least back then you could possibly get a skin or something that you actually wanted. Now most of the cosmetics are real money only. Long gone are the days of the $10 cosmetic, which was absurd even back then, yes, but now we're getting completely worthless digital goods and skins.
I promise you, this one is probably around 30 bucks. This one maybe 25, 30. No, this is 20 bucks. This 25, 30. Maybe this one 20. And then we have this 30, maybe 20.
That'll be gone forever when the game inevitably shuts down and the servers go offline. That will cost you $40 US or more. And of course, that will cost you $40 US or more. And of course, Overwatch 2 is going the Destiny route of selling itself basically to the highest bidder, with all these goofy crossover costumes that just feel really out of place in the world of Overwatch, like G.I. Joe and Cowboy Bebop. Look, I love both of those things, but I go to Overwatch and those characters for like their thing. I get some people dig it, but I don't know, it can kind of feel cheap. But it's gotten so bad that Blizzard thinks they're doing the player base a favor when they're robbing them blind. Like with a recent timed winter event where you could get some legendary costumes for $5. But if you wanted everything, then it was gonna cost closer to 35. There was literally not enough time in the event to get enough in-game currency to earn this stuff just by playing the game. And of course, they're not gonna
oh, that's a shitty way. That's a shitty way. Oh, you can get money by playing the game. But you won't have time. Like, come on.
just let you buy anything in the
Typical
bundle
Blizzard.
individually, so it's all or nothing. Pay up, dude. The Overwatch 1 price model wasn't great, but people paid for a game and then could at least theoretically earn stuff from the loot box system. But now that Overwatch 2 has replaced the original game and that whole mess, all that type of stuff, that format is gone now. And even if you drop $60 on the game when it originally came out, you still have to pay up. Next at number 6, on June 10th, Rainbow Six Siege went sort of free to play with its big Year 10 update, which brought about some big changes to the game.
Okay.
It also inevitably started to get stingy with the in-game currency. Usually, going free to play is just develop.
Yeah, because Siege had an okay price for the skin, I would say. One of few ones, but so they changed it. Okay.
Speak for just, going off the rails on the monetization stuff. Usually, it doesn't take 10 years to do it. Obviously, the sales of Siege must have dropped off years ago, but either way, they switched over to a mostly free model, and then players immediately started to feel the squeeze. The rate the game was giving out in-game currency dropped off a cliff, while at the same time, they introduced new Masterpiece level cosmetic bundles that cost $50 a pop.
No, this gotta stop. You can't pay 30 to 40 to 50 bucks a skin, even though it's a bundle. These developers gotta stop doing this. Like, it's... it's like you can get 2 games for the same price, or 1 new game. What the hell is this? This is. No.
It used to be that you'd get a decent amount of renown every match, even if you lost, but now barely you get any. Like, to make up for that, they're doing daily rewards instead to encourage players to just log in all the time. You know, it's just meant to get them more connected to the game.
And of course you get shit like this. What the hell? Like, is every FPS developer going this route? COD route? Oh, fuck. I'm seeing it now, BF6. Oh, shit.
Which, in turn, might make them more likely to throw money by buying a weird skin. It's your average free-to-play Dark Patterns bullcrap. It's unfortunate to see in Rainbow Six Siege or Siege X, a game that managed to go on for so long with a relatively stable monetization system and solid player base. Now it just looks like every other overpriced free-to-play junk out there. And it's unfortunate because Siege is still like a very unique game. There's nothing...
And Ubisoft, they're heavy on MTX. They're almost as bad. They're just as bad as Activision when it comes to COD. Like, they have like skins that cost like a fuck ton of money in a single play game. But the thing is, they don't release it at launch. They wait, and then they give you paid skins. And they're especially the bundles, even the mounts. It's just, I don't remember on the top of my head, but I think like a mount can cost $20 just for a mount. It's just like Ubisoft. They're greedy. They're greedy as fuck.
Really quite else like it out there. The devs at least bumped up renown and experience gains after players complained. They did listen, but the overall earnings are still worse than before it went free to play, as far as we can tell. Next at number 5, it seems like these monetization models in games just keep getting more and more expensive, but these games continue to somehow find success.
Oh, let's go. Of course, this comes up.
It seems like no matter how much a game charges for skins, there is apparently someone out there willing to pay for it. Not so much with Apex Legends, though, which lost about 40% of its revenue in 2024. It's not an unpopular game. In fact, it's still got a very big player base. It's one of the top 10 most played games on Xbox, but the problem is that people playing the game just aren't buying anything. Why? Well,
yeah, why? Because all these events, you can't earn a shit. You have to pay. It's been like this since the game came out. It's just a lot worse, and I don't get how this hasn't been any bigger in the gaming world, because this game is so greedy they don't give you shit. Unless you're part of EA Play, then you'll get a nice fuck. It's not even nice, like a thing you put on the weapon, just a little ding ding bling. Shit.
Well, there are a few reasons for it. Partially, it might be because the game is mostly played by the hardcore fan base who just don't care about microtransactions. It could very well be that the microtransactions themselves are just too damn expensive. I mean, just last year, Apex had that Final Fantasy crossover event,
that
which
was,
had, I kid you not, $290 worth of microtransactions. The prices on these things are absurd, and Apex keeps running these types of things, but it seems like nobody is really buying them up. Look, I know.
Not only that, but nobody really screams for the top of the lungs. Every event, it's expensive. Like, holy shit. And they are wondering why this fails and what can we do? Yeah, let's release 2 battle passes a season, huh? Come on! 2 battle passes a season? Who the hell does that? Well, Activision, but now they do it too.
know some people buy it, but I think like I don't think in my right mind like a lot of people are really going for this stuff. Maybe it's the demographic of the player base, maybe the skins are just ugly, but either way, Apex seems like it's struggling to make revenue because of its terrible microtransactions. This has been a problem with the game for years.
Yeah.
They keep pulling these stupid stunts, and every time more and more people just kind of give up on the game entirely, or they just keep playing with their head down and not buying anything, which, you know what, good on them. Next at number 4, originally there was this, Rocksmith, a 2014 guitar rhythm game that was more like a hardcore alternative to Rock Band. It was a little late to the party, but it was a game that a lot of people were a fan of. Unlike playing Guitar Hero or Rock Band endlessly, you could actually learn some guitar from Rocksmith, and that was really cool. The cash model was simple. You bought the game, there were DLC songs, just standard stuff. It wasn't cheap, exactly, but it worked for what the game was offering. So fast forward to 2024, and we've got Rocksmith Plus, a new free-to-play version of the original game. The concept isn't necessarily disastrous. I mean, these games live and breathe on DLC anyway, so I guess making a free version with a ton of DLC would make some degree of sense. Oh wait, there's no DLC. Instead, they're going with a subscription model. $20 a month. That's crazy. Like, that just seems like a really high price. And they didn't even stop there. This version of the game removed multiple features from the original, including arcade mode and all the mini games, and replaced them with nothing. The free version is not good, including maybe like 10 songs total, and the subscription isn't even that great, with a lot of like bad cover versions of songs instead of the real thing. It's an uncomplicated model, I'll give you that.
Cover songs that didn't even pay for the original songs? And they thought this was a great idea? And then they put this out, $20 a month. Now, fuck you. You don't even take the time or the resources to pay the original artists. You just put in some cover songs. What the fuck is this? No. No. Oh, no.
I keep it simple, but that monthly price, that's a lot for a subscription. Like, that's more than Netflix. How many people are going to pay that much for a slightly updated version of a game that's already 10 years old with a lot of the fun stuff stripped out? If SteamDB is anything to go by...
All-time peak! All-time peak! Ooh, what? For Rocksmith? That says a lot. Like, this is a big brand. Holy shit. 196. Damn. Of course, it was also a mobile game, but at the same time, what? Shit.
And not that many. Now at number 3, I remember a time way back when all of World of Warcraft had was a subscription and expansions. Now, it's got everything you'd expect a modern game to have and a lot more, up to and including $90 mounts. In 2006, players were ready to go.
What? Okay.
Go and burn down the Bethesda offices for daring to include cosmetic armor.
This is where it all started. This is where it all started. Holy fuck you, Bethesda. You started it all.
For $2.50. Remember horse armor? And now we've got people climbing over each other just to get a
$2.50? Exactly what it's worth. $2.50. Huh? But now now probably 20. 5.
Remember horse armor? And now we've got people climbing over each other just to get a chance to spend nearly $100 on a mount in an MMO where you're already paying a subscription fee. To the whale's credit, this mount does include both access to the auction house and a mailbox, 2 things that are provided for free at every major hub city. So what I'm saying is it's still a massive waste of money, but it still does at least provide something, and it is big.
What?
No, that doesn't justify the price at all, man. man.
No.
World of Warcraft in general has been experimenting with these overpriced ticket items, and it's just never really good. And it doesn't make the game any better, and it just encourages players with less self-control than sense to be even more obsessed with the game. In terms of like other games on the list, World of Warcraft is not like a complete microtransaction hellscape. It's not like they're badgering you to spend money after every raid like in Destiny or something like that, but it is still noticeably a worse place than when it started. It's not like you're spending any less. The game still runs on subscriptions and expansions, but now there's all this worthless crap to buy on top of all that. Now
Well, you have a subscription model, and then you have MTX on top of this. Like, the MTX is supposed to make up for the game being free to play. But that's also what the subscription is gonna do. That's why you pay a subscription model, because the game is free. If you want something extra, okay, pay that monthly fee. The MTX should definitely be a lot cheaper. I don't think like the developers got the memo. No. The max I pay for skins is $10, and it's only Warframe Steam exclusive skins because I know 50% goes to the creator. Yeah, exactly. No way in hell I will ever pay $20 to $40 for a TFD bikini, a slutty skin. Well, I bought a skin that cost like $20.
Number 2, Disney Speedstorm. What started out as a fairly generous free-to-play racing game saw a slow and inevitable slide into being a full-on microtransaction wasteland, man. First, it launched as a PC title that mostly behaved like you'd expect, a Mario Kart-like game. But it switched to mobile, and then the menus got simplified. The tokens, which originally could only be earned in-game or obtained from the Founders Bundle, were made purchasable. Coins you earned naturally in the game were made harder to get. Rewards across the board were reduced. The season pass,
we've talked about it so many times. Respect gamers' time. That's the key. To keep a steady player base, to bring in new people, because people will talk about it. You should play this. This actually respects us as players. But this shit, yeah, this is a recipe to get your game to fail and just saying fuck you people, and then they'll leave it, and then they'll cancel the game.
were split up with premium tracks costing real money now. Fewer things could be obtained using in-game currency, more things cost cold hard cash, and even earning in-game currency was getting more and more.
I mean, the developers of Warframe should really have like a meeting or something to learn other developers how to keep the players, but also to make money. They should teach other developers that MTX route, that system. Because when people do this, your game will fail. We're not stupid. We know what you're doing. Greedy sons of bitches.
Difficult. Players complained that the tokens they were earning in-game were essentially useless, and the developers responded by making tokens even more worthless. Eventually, they started splitting the season into not just 2 passes, but 3. So if you wanted everything, you
what
now...
the fuck? 3? We talked about 2 with Apex Legends and Call of Duty. But 3?
had to buy 3 golden passes. When the game originally launched, there was 1 pass and you could buy it with in-game currency. Now there were 3, and the amount of content you got was only slightly more than with just 1, and you had to spend real-world cash to get them. That's not the worst of it. Like, just this year, they added an even more expensive mechanic to the Golden Pass with just flat-out blatant pay-to-win stuff that give you an enhanced version of racers with better nitro boosts. At this point, it's less of a game and more of just like a pay-to-win thing. It's a shame, because the idea was really cool, but Disney seems like they're kind of content with running it into the ground. Now at number 1, Star Citizen. Okay, go easy on us, Star Citizen fans, but it feels kind of absurd to say that this game is a microtransaction hellscape now, when we're talking about the game that in the past sold ship bundles for like tens of thousands of dollars. For ships that didn't even exist yet, you were spending the down payment on a house on what was the equivalent of like a digital IOU. How can it possibly get worse than that? Cloud Imperium Games have used just about every possible way to get some money out of the dedicated player base, but this year, it seems even some fans of Star Citizen reached their breaking point. People may have accepted ships and ship insurance, but when Star Citizen came up with the bright idea for ship upgrades, that seems like that was a bridge too far. No longer intend to charge players for ships that weren't in a game yet or in a finished game yet. They were going to start selling ship upgrades for, frankly, absurd prices. 6 bomb racks for $45, cargo modules for $30, ship speed upgrades for $42 US. The idea was that these things could be bought with in-game money, but when they first launched, the only way to get them was using cold hard cash. Compared to overpriced ships, this might sound like a drop in the bucket, but the problem is that this new ship upgrade system completely undermines what a lot of fans liked from the individual ships. They each had their own strengths and weaknesses, at least in theory. Like, people knew what they were up against when they looked at another enemy ship. That's what made all these ships unique and what made people want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars on them. Now it seems like it's going to end up being a free-for-all where people willing to put up with the high prices will have an invisible advantage over other players. And if they're going to monetize something as basic as this, what's to stop them from monetizing literally everything else in a game? A game that, I might add, is in its 13th year of development and is still technically in alpha. There's more of a game than ever, but it's still in the works. And also, they've already asked so much from the player base financially. If they're going to charge for like stuff like this piecemeal stuff, like what are prices on things like furniture or actual cosmetics going to cost? Yeah, in comparison to the insane prices on some of the ships, these upgrades might not seem like much, but ships are seen as investments. These are 100% unvarnished, just microtransactions that should not cost real-world cash to obtain. Look, the Star Citizen community isn't a league of their own. They're incredibly unique. They're definitely willing to overlook a lot, but for many, the monetization of ship upgrades is...
And what I've heard, you can earn the ships in the game, but it just takes a lot of time.
One of the final straws. As of the time of writing this video, I don't know how this is all going to shake out, but we're just going to have to wait and see. The grand ambitions of Star Citizen are definitely still tantalizing, but it's just kind of getting messier in between. Anyway, those are 10 games that have kind of...
holy shit. 13 years is still out for fucking they shot this much. Yeah, it's like Kickstarter. You know, only they just... Yeah. Ask for your money like fucking hell. Warframe today is one, if not the best free-to-play games out there that respects your time and your time is in-game money. Yeah, they weren't that on launch, but it took them 1 or 2 months to learn that was wrong, and then they removed all that non-play friendly crap. Yeah, like everyone should learn. Like, every developer should know by now that that is a shit way, and they should just do it the opposite. Like, the more people are playing your game, the higher the chances is for them to pay money and to tell other people to play your game. Weird shit. But I played Star Citizen. I think I got the 65 USD ship. I had to buy a ship or something to get the game. I don't remember, but it was a bundle. But the game actually works. It does. But it has a lot of bugs. But it is playable. And it was fewer bugs than I thought it was. So one day I'm definitely hopping back in. But yeah, MTX needs to change.